Hey everybody, I'm BJ1, aka The Terrible Australian at supermarsy.com, and welcome to my video review of the Jane Austen slash horror zombie mashup film Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. So let's get right into it. Now, I love zombies, even though, yeah, they're kind of like all over the place at the moment, and some people are getting tired of them and already and whatnot. But, you know, I enjoy a good zombie film, and I definitely like when a film kind of takes a new spin on them. And you can't think of anything even more of a hilarious spin than putting zombies in probably one of author Jane Austen's most beloved books of all time, Pride and Prejudice. So that sort of combination of those two very different things definitely had me very curious to see this film out. And I actually do have the book to this film, but I haven't had a chance to read it prior to watching this film, so I don't know how it compares, or even how it compares to the original Jane Austen book as well, because I haven't read that either. I feel so bad about that, so forgive me. But I have seen the other film adaptations of Pride and Prejudice, but then again, that doesn't make me a scholar of all things Jane Austen. But that being said, though, I was definitely still very curious to see how this film would turn out, sort of combining these two things. And like, the film sort of got a mixed reception from critics and whatnot, but I have to say, I thought it was a lot of fun, and I thought, like, and it actually did a really good job at sort of finding a way to sort of bringing zombies into the world of Pride and Prejudice, and I thought it did it in such a really clever way that it actually made it work, and actually felt surprisingly organic to the story. And I sort of, it was funny though, kind of watch, like, sort of seeing all the kind of the scenes that are from Pride and Prejudice are based on, you know, me seeing other film adaptations and whatnot of the past, so not book-wise, but film-wise. Sort of seeing those scenes I've seen before played out, but adding a bit of zombies in there for the mix. And I thought did it really clever way, and it actually worked, surprisingly. And it also brought a lot of fun and like a fun flavor to the whole proceedings, and sort of mixing sort of romance and comedy and drama and horror, and it just about, and writer-director Burr Steers was able to kind of find that sort of ground, like tonal, to balance all these different tones in the one film. And I thought he did a really good job at that as well. And also having a bit of action in there as well, because there's a lot of sort of martial arts and action sequences and whatnot, sort of balancing out all that stuff. And, like, it's a film, like I said, could easily have been very tonally uneven and all over the place, but Burr Steers just found this really kind of good balance to sort of, for all of that to work on the same level. And I thought he did a good job at that, directing-wise, and also through his script as well. And also it helps that he has a really sort of committed cast in there as well. Lily James does a great job in the role of Elizabeth Bennet, and Sam Riley in the role of Mr. Darcy, and also the supporting cast that has Jack Huston, Charles Dance, Lena, Headey, Matt Smith, Douglas Booth, Bella Heathcote, and many more are all really strong in their roles, and they all sort of deliver sort of pitch perfect performances in a way that this isn't a film that sort of is like wink wink nudge nudge to the audience. It plays all the sort of the actual Pride and Prejudice stuff completely straight, but it has that sort of zombie element in there as well, and everyone plays it straight, and but at the same time it brings a lot of, they know that this is also doesn't take itself too seriously, and it has a bit of fun with the premise as well. So which is good, because the original Pride and Prejudice Zombies book, which of course written by Jane Austen and also Seth Grahame-Smith. Well, Seth Grahame-Smith also wrote the book Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and I saw the film adaptation of that when it came out a few years ago, and I felt that film wasn't as fun as it could have been, and I felt that film kind of took itself way too seriously. But this is the polar opposite of that. Like, just like that film, everyone plays it straight, but at the same time, there is kind of, they know that this is kind of a ridiculous thing without being sort of like winking at the audience and all that. So, and there's a bit of fun and humor and all that in there as well, and particularly from Matt Smith, who I thought was hilarious in this film. So, Yeah, I thought it was a really good film. Like I said, in terms of negatives, at times, like, visually the film looked good, but other times it did feel very TV movie-ish. And also, like, there were times where you can tell that they sort of had to tone down some of the gore in the film as well. So I kind of wish there was a bit more sort of gore in certain sequences. But I was still surprised on how much, at least, they got away with for the most part. But it would have been good if just to see like a sort of an uncut version of this film. I mean, if it does exist, of course. And a couple little gripes here and there or not. But, you know, they didn't really ruin my experience of this film too much. So overall, Pride and Prejudice of Zombies, I thought it was a really fun film. It won't be for everyone, and you kind of just got to go with it, pretty much, to enjoy it. But I went along with it, and I had a lot of fun with it. So, but again, it all depends on, you know, if you can get on its wavelength or not. So, if I had to give this film a rating, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I thought it was a lot of fun. So, yep, that's the end of my video review of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you, everyone. Bye.